Hello, I am Batman, and for decades, Hollywood has produced films based on my own exploits as a crime fighter. Now, much to my dismay, these films have only grown darker and darker. I, being the good-natured public figure that I am, found it a little disheartening, but I did not interfere so as to avoid cramping anyone's style, as the kids might say.
I don't think kids actually say that.
I am, of course, joined by Robin, the Boy Wonder.
Oh, Batman, I'm not the boy wonder anymore.
You are to me, old chum. You are to me. You'll be running the projector today. That's a good Robin. Stay right there. As time moved on, my arch nemesis, the Joker, decided that he felt left out and commissioned his own film to be made about his origins. The film was, of course, entitled Joker, and was released to the public in 2019.
So Joker dropped a the, and you gained a the. What's with that?
It is a riddle, Robin, but you are not the riddler, so be quiet. Being a father figure, as I am, I do not allow many R-rated movies into the Batcave, least of all ones attempting to shine a sympathetic light onto the origins of a serial killer. But as the movie gained traction, the reviews were rave. It won Oscars, and so, over the years, I decided that perhaps now was the time. I did, in fact, view the film for my first time just a little bit ago, and now I am prepared to review it with you, my good citizens, to properly analyze the pros and cons of its creative merit. So, roll the film, Robin, and we shall see. The film introduces us to Arthur Fleck as he puts on clown makeup and tries to force himself to smile. This tells us that he is not a very happy man. I personally find it quite easy to smile. Life is but a dream for me, the crime fighter. The criminals that I apprehend, however, may have a different story. After a quick montage of Arthur doing a little dance, he gets mugged. Now, come now, Arthur. Didn't your mother ever tell you to get right back up onto the horse?
What if it mugged you?
What?
What if the horse is the one that mugged you?
Who or what do you suppose the horse is in this scenario?
Well, I guess, logically, the horse would be the sign?
You're proposing that Arthur Fleck was riding along when he got jumped. The muggers beat him over the head with his own horse until it split into two, and that is how he became the Joker.
Hey, it was your metaphor.
Not meant to be taken literally. Oh, how I do wonder what his life might have been If only he had become a mall Santa instead of a clown. Arthur has a condition in which he laughs uncontrollably when he does not know what to say, often leading to some amount of physical pain. Could I get a holy supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Batman?
Why would I say that?
Because it is what you say when you do not know what to say, and when Arthur doesn't know what to say, he laughs.
You can't just make up a holyism. They have to make sense. It's an art.
People are upset.
I do appreciate how well they depict the downtrodden state of Gotham City at this time. Before I showed up, things were quite miserable. So miserable, in fact, that it was a breeding ground for criminals such as the Joker. Now, Arthur is so desperate for attention, he not only projects himself into the Murray Franklin show, but he turns himself into the that guy in every studio audience who inexplicably manages to laugh louder than every single other person. But since this is all fantasy, it garners not the disdain, but the respect of Murray.
What's your name?
Things are not going well for him at work. His friend loans him a gun he's not supposed to have, and his boss is getting some complaints, leading to pay cuts. All of this stress leads to Arthur murdering some trash.
Well, gee, Batman, I thought you'd show a little more grace towards the citizens of Gotham. Oh. Literal trash.
After a somewhat friendly encounter in the elevator, he begins to project onto this young lady here. Now remember, children, studies show that in 95% of cases where a couple begins their relationship by pantomiming suicide, one or both of them end up being figments of the other's imagination in the end. After he lets his weapon drop out of his pants in front of some children, his boss has no other choice but to fire him. You know, I've spent so much time around superheroes who change into costume inside phone booths. I've never actually stopped to wonder what a supervillain might do in one.
I'd say he's trapped in a glass case of emotion.
Don't ignore him. He's being nice to you.
So is this really what catcalling looks like?
Well, it normally doesn't involve the flicking of French fries at the young lady, but yes, more or less. The acting in this scene is genuinely impressive. You can hear the pain in his voice. It's impossible to tell where the laughter ends and the sobbing begins. It's all just, it is very effective. So after his first kill, he runs to a dingy bathroom and proceeds to dance. Now, considering that this is more or less analogous to getting off on violence, I suppose I am glad that dancing is all that he does. That being said, however, I do find it a little odd just how random it feels. Something you like to say, Robin?
Well, Well, Batman,
Yes, old chum?
you know, I just think it's a little rich hearing you complain about goofy dances.
Well, when I do it, it's for the sake of wholesome entertainment. When Joker does it, it's just creepy.
But isn't that kind of the point?
Now, Robin, do you intend to play devil's advocate with this film? I really don't know what to make of you these days.
Maybe you should just find a different route.
What?
I just think, watching it now, maybe those guys deserved it?
Now that is just what Joker wants you to think. He wants you to sympathize with him. It is a ruse, and I advise you not to fall for it.
Golly, Batman, I'm just trying to enjoy the movie.
Yes, all right. Continue.
Did you really bring a gun to the children's hospital, Artie? What the f did you do that for?
Is that part of your new act, Arthur? If your dancing doesn't do the trick, you're just gonna shoot yourself?
Now, put inside the clown vulgarity. This line may actually plant the seed of suicide into Arthur's mind, as we will see when he prepares for his Murray Franklin appearance later on. City-wide budget cuts lead to Arthur losing access to his medication. Nevertheless, he decides now is the perfect time to put himself out into the public sphere. Let's just say this may not have been the wisest of decisions. Now, I can't really say that I would be able to take this film seriously anymore if it tried to pass Joker off as my own kin, but thankfully this rumor is proven false later on.
Do you remember Joker sticking his fingers in your mouth?
This never happened.
Everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
This spurs his hatred of Murray, and now with one more positive male role model knocked off the list, who else can Arthur turn to but my own father?
It's me!
I guess it's true what they say. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Just put a good old buff over that and it's your average Tuesday for me.
Holy hypocrisy! You never told me your dad was such a dick!
Don't call people Dick. How would you feel if a creepy loner started questioning you about your family history? You would defend yourself too. All right, Robin. Since you seem so set on defending Arthur's actions, why does he get in a fridge?
The fridge. Right. Well, you see, in the previous scene, he told Thomas Wayne that all he wanted was a little warmth. So now, getting into the fridge could be a visual metaphor for how cold he feels on the inside.
And he's communicating that to us, the audience of a movie he does not know that he's in.
I don't know, maybe he's just trying to suffocate himself.
Well, if that were the case, then they should have allowed the second phone call to take place in this same scene. And when Arthur hears that it's from the Murray Franklin show, he gets out of the fridge. Instead, they abruptly cut to the next day, and they force us to watch him walk around the house in his tighty-whities. Something which no decent human being needs to see. Next, he goes to Arkham to find his mother's personal file, which tells him that he was not only adopted, but that his mother was very mentally ill and abusive. And this childhood abuse is what led to the brain damage causing his laughing problem, which causes him to smother her with a pillow.
I mean, she did take advantage of him his entire life.
Robin! You've got to stop defending this movie! You cannot justify violence by mere sympathy. Some of the world's most dangerous tyrants came from humble beginnings. Even Adolf Hitler thought himself oppressed, and he used that to rally together all of the working class Germans to form the National Socialist Party.
Really, Batman? Isn't it kind of a low blow to compare Hitler and Joker? He canonically hates Nazis!
Really? Joker canonically hates Nazis? Because when he kills, he does so indiscriminately?
Yeah.
That's still not good!
Oh, jeez. Why don't I just leave then?
This is the first scene where Arthur really starts to act like the Joker that we're more accustomed to. His nonchalance towards violence, the way he teases Gary afterwards, even his use of a household item shows how improvisational he can be. In fact, this scene is so brutal, I have a hard time watching it. So, if you would now, Robin, please fast forward. Anytime now. Robin? Oh. Right. Robin, you may come back in here, please.
Yes, Batman?
What were you doing with those scissors, Robin?
I was scrapbooking.
Ah. Well, I hope, very much hope, that our last encounter hasn't left you feeling too sour.
Oh, I feel great. Did you need something?
I just wanted to let you know how very much I appreciate you and what you do. And I need you to keep running the projector.
Well, golly, Batman, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna go put these scissors away.
As the city is about to boil over, Joker arrives at his Murray Franklin appearance date. And this woman has the proper reaction. As does this fellow right here. He tries to take Murray off the air, but Murray keeps going, likely concerned only with viewership, and believing this to be a big-time story that he should take advantage of. Little does he know that all the attention is only feeding Joker's ego with every passing second.
You decide what's right or wrong, the same way that you decide what's funny.
This does open up an interesting discussion into subjective morality. Joker here believes he has done nothing wrong because he sees himself as justified in his actions.
Sort of like you, back when you first became a vigilante.
No, this is nothing like that, Robin. I had rules, and I followed them no matter what. That is objectivity. It's not what's on the inside, but what you do that counts. Standards keep society alive. Joker has no rules. He holds himself to no higher standard. In fact, he actually expresses a bit of a double standard here. Now, if you will listen closely to what Joker is saying,
Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy.
and now listen closely to what Murray is saying,
You don't know the first thing about me, pal. Not everyone is awful.
see? Hypocritical.
He is supposed to be the villain, Batman. Isn't it okay if he's a little hypocritical?
Yes, but considering that he is the protagonist of this movie, and the lines are being delivered in a very self-righteous tone, I, for one, am not convinced that the filmmakers intended this hypocrisy. I mean, come now, Joker concerned about social justice? It just doesn't strike me as being natural. Answer me this. Is Joker insane? I mean, truly mentally ill.
I mean, obviously.
Now let me elaborate. The Joker that I know revels in chaos, enjoys insanity, which leads me to believe that he essentially appropriated mental illness from the genuinely ill. I have a hard time believing that he was ever hopelessly depressed. It feels like a lie. Something that the Joker himself might have concocted to convince people to sympathize with him. Similar to what he did in The Dark Knight. There, he told stories trying to justify, or at the very least, rationalize his insanity, but these stories are contradictory in nature and tailor-made to get inside the heads of whoever he is torturing at that time. He didn't care what the truth is then, and he doesn't care what the truth is now. None of this is real. And this is just impolite. Surely you can kill without swearing.
That's what you take issue with.
I mean, I meant to say that surely you can not do whatever it is that you do, Joker. There's always another way. Whatever happened to traps, You trap your victims in some sort of oversized, over-engineered, elaborate death device, and then you leave the room to give them a sporting chance.
Good night.
This game used to have a little bit of civilization. Now it's just grotesque. But then again, this does show how far Gotham had fallen before its Dark Knight, swooped in to save it.
Don't forget about the Boy Wonder.
Well, of course. Who can forget the dynamic duo? I'm glad to have you back on my side, old chum.
What's so funny? You want to tell it to me?
Now, This isn't a bad ending to the film, but it could be a great one. The question is, when does this take place? It seems to be Joker reflecting on the irony that his action caused the murder of the Waynes, which of course caused my own creation. But if this scene takes place directly after the events of the film, he wouldn't know about that, would he? So when does it take place? Now, here's the catch. It is alluded to that Joker is around 30 years old during the events of the film, but the actor who played him was in his mid-40s. Is it possible that the end scene is the present and the rest of the movie is actually taking place at least 10 years prior? Because that would mean that the whole movie is actually Joker beginning to realize that his own evil actions caused a good to arise that would eventually defeat him. And if that is the case, then the filmmakers do deserve some respect for crafting a film with a thought-provoking philosophical message in the end.
Aha! So you do like it.
Now, I didn't say that, Robin. For all I know, this is nothing but headcanon.
But isn't freedom of interpretation the beauty of art?
That was actually very well said. I'm proud of you.
I'm glad we finally agree on something.
Oh no. Oh my. Well, that's what I get for talking about movies all day. I put down the bat phone and now I have 5 missed calls from Commissioner Gordon. So, thank you for watching, and Robin, to the Batmobile! My bat shorts keep riding up at me. Get a little bit uncomfortable. Well, golly, Batman! Well, golly, Batman, why didn't you say so? I'm gonna go put these scissors away.
Smith? I love the Smiths.
Sorry?
I said I love the Smiths.
City-wide budget cuts. Whoa.
You should come by during the day sometime. It's totally different. Really, stop by. It'll blow your mind. You can meet my best friend, Jeffrey.
What is a Batman without his utility belt? And how do I stop it from getting caught on the cape? Take off my gloves, probably. It begins with Joker fingering himself, which is never a good sign. I'm gonna go full-blown Walter White if I don't find that stupid fly.